Ikay never liked walking home alone at night. But tonight was different. Tonight, the fog was thick, swallowing the streetlights and casting long, eerie shadows. Each step he took echoed in the silence. He felt a chill, not just from the damp air, but from a deep, unsettling feeling in his gut.
As I rounded a bend, I saw her. A woman in a flowing white dress, her back to me, standing under the lone flickering streetlight. Her hair was long and dark, cascading down her back like a waterfall. I stopped, my heart pounding against my ribs. Who was she? And what was she doing out here at this hour? Excuse me.
But the woman didn't move. He took a hesitant step closer, then another. Suddenly she turned. Ikay gasped, stumbling back in terror. Her face was pale and gaunt, her eyes hollow black pits. Then, just as quickly as she had appeared, she vanished. The image of the woman in the fog haunted Ikay's dreams. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her pale face, her hollow eyes. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched.
I started seeing her everywhere. A fleeting glimpse of white in the corner of my eye. A soft whisper of my name when no one was around. The flickering of lights, the creaking of floorboards. Every little sound sent shivers down my spine.
One night, as he lay in bed, he heard it. A soft, mournful cry coming from just outside his bedroom door.
I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know what or who was tormenting me.
Slowly, cautiously, he got out of bed and crept towards the door. His hand trembled as he reached for the knob. He took a deep breath and threw open the door. The hallway was empty. The encounters escalated. They weren't just fleeting glimpses anymore. The ghostly figure lingered longer, growing bolder. It stood in doorways, its sorrow palpable, its presence suffocating. Ikay's sleep became plagued by nightmares, each more vivid and terrifying than the last. Then came the night he would never forget. The night he woke to a bone-chilling cold and the feeling of being watched.
And then I saw it. Standing at the foot of my bed, shrouded in the pale moonlight, was the woman. Her white dress flowed around her like mist, her long, dark hair obscuring her face.
Terror, raw and primal, seized him. He couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. He could only watch, paralyzed, as the figure glided closer. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing himself for whatever was to come. But there was nothing. He slowly opened his eyes. The room was empty, but the fear, the icy dread lingered. Ikay couldn't live like this anymore. Desperate for answers, he confided in his aunt, a woman known for her wisdom and her understanding of the spiritual realm.
You are not alone. These spirits, they are lost, trapped between worlds. They need our help to find peace.
She spoke of ancient rituals, of offerings and prayers, of ways to communicate with the restless dead.
I'll try anything at all.
Following his aunt's guidance, Ikay gathered the necessary items, candles, incense, herbs, and a photograph of the woman in his visions. He had found it tucked away in an old box of his grandmother's belongings, a faded image of a young woman with hauntingly familiar eyes. On the night of the next full moon, he prepared himself for the ritual. He arranged the candles and incense on his living room floor, the soft glow illuminating the room with an ethereal light. He placed the photograph in the center, his heart pounding in his chest. As he began to chant the ancient words his aunt had taught him, a sense of calm washed over him.
I acknowledge your pain, your sorrow, your longing for peace. I promise to help you find your way, to release you from your earthly bonds.
As the last of the incense burned away, a sense of peace settled over the room. The air felt lighter, the shadows less menacing. He looked at the photograph, at the woman's sad eyes, and whispered, S1, as Ikay. Go in peace. The nights that followed the ritual were different. The oppressive fear that had haunted Ikay for weeks slowly began to dissipate. The ghostly visitations ceased, the whispers faded into silence. He could finally sleep without the dread of waking to that chilling presence. He felt a profound sense of relief, but also a strange sense of sadness. The spirit, the woman in the photograph, was no longer a source of terror, but a reminder of a soul lost and then found peace. His encounter with the supernatural had changed him. He had learned that sometimes the veil between the living and the dead is thin, and that those who have passed on often linger, seeking solace and closure.